Okay, I am going to use what chair? Maybe just one of these. Hi, welcome back to Lakeside, literally Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. I'm going to be threading up a needle while we do our introduction. I have done some quilting on the unicorn quilt, and I have got to enjoy doing it in a variety of places. Like I've done it in my bed, I've done it in my living room, I've done it in my studio, I've done it in, I feel like this is one of those green eggs and ham Dr. Seuss books. Do you like green eggs and ham? Do you like it in a boxcar, a treetop? Well, I've kind of done it in almost all those possible places that are available to me here at home. I've done it outside here in a couple of different places and at my kitchen table, the kitchen counter, and like I said, in bed, which is fantastic. But what I really like about the hand quilting being portable, what makes the hand quilting portable is the fact that I was very comfortable using my friction pen, so I have really good lines to follow. And because of the type of quilting that this is, it doesn't really matter much if it's messy, which I'm so glad that I went into this quilting, um, with the idea. Hear the bass fishermen out there? They're noisy right now. Every once in a while we get a car that drives too fast too. But most of that noise you're hearing is the fishermen. They like to gather at different times of the day. Like there's a group of them that just meet right out here. It's usually 5 or 6 boats, and they're meeting out there at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. As soon as that park is opened up, they are out there. Anyway, one of the things that made it possible for me to travel around and even in kind of lower light is the fact that I used my friction pen pretty liberally. I didn't mind because of the kind of quilt this is. I've kind of um, embraced the idea that I'm not looking for perfection, and because there's so many colors on it already, it doesn't really matter if we have some friction lines that don't go away. Um, this may not work out sitting here in this chair talking to you because I have no back support leaning into the camera like this. So I may have to change. I haven't cut fresh video each day because I was really enjoying the process and the ease of the quilting. I think that's such a joy. I really do. Now, again, I think I was saying that I'm glad that I embraced early on the idea that this quilting could be primitive, that the kantha quilting, just using the running stitches, is kind of a primitive, but a beautiful primitive aesthetic, if you ask me. Because when I was first thinking about the quilting, I didn't really appreciate just how hard it was going to be to quilt through this. It's not because of the batting. This is that diaper. It's pretty holy. It's woven. That's pretty airy, very thin and pretty airy. So that's not it. What's causing the difficulty of getting this needle through the quilt top is the fact that each one of these little squares is pretty much backed by seam allowance. So the top is pretty much double, and then you've got the batting, and then you've got the back. And so it's tough. And then you got a big eye. This is I think I told you in one of the other videos, but it's the Clover's Gold Eye Chenille Needle number 24. And you know that your quilt top is difficult when you break a needle in it. You break the head off of your needle, and your fingers, now my fingers get sore anyway, but I think anybody's ever gotten sore. But whenever you break a needle, then you kind of know that this is not just you. It's not just you being sensitive to how tough it is. It's really tough. It truly is tough. At some point, it became really obvious to me that I needed a little bit of help, some tool help. So I went into the garage and tried to find some kind of pliers that I thought might be nice on my needle and not really beat up my needle and make it even harder to go through the fabric. I found the clamp that you've seen in some of the videos, and I found this one particular set of pliers. It's got a really fine set of grooves here, so it grabs the needle really well. I found that working with the clamp, it was just, there's too much tension on that clamp. It was just really hard to open it. It was going to be bruising up the inside of my hands. So I've been using the pliers, but I looked on Amazon for a pair of needle nose pliers that have like a silicone or rubber tips that would be a little bit more gentle on the needle. And I found something that I've ordered. It'll be here on Sunday. We'll see how I like that. I might be completely done by then, but I do like the hand quilting. I like the flexibility of it. So I very well will find the tool helpful if I do like it when I get it. And I'll be using it. I'll just keep it with my sewing supplies. I think it's important to have a good grip and to not have to struggle, because that just wears out our hands. And you know, if you're young yet and you don't have any arthritis or any ligament issues in your hands, you may not be able to appreciate how easy it is to do damage that is lasting. But trust me, it's possible. It happens. And so we need to be conscientious of these things. I'm really pleased with how things are looking, even though the stitches are not even. They look very rudimentary, very elementary, very, I don't know, what's another word I could throw at this? Rough. They're just rough, right? Because it's been hard. Every stitch I've made has been difficult. It's been a tug of war with these many layers that are going through here. I'm glad I don't have a proper batting material in. That would have made it even worse, unless I'd worked with wool. And I think that would have been easy. But this, I don't think that this batting that I'm using, which is just a really loose weave, very loose weave baby diaper, I don't think it's adding any complexity. All I'm doing right now is echo stitching on the inside of each of these petals, and very loosely, like an eighth of an inch away on each one of them. I just get my needle started, grab it with the pliers. I can't really get more than two stitches. It's just too hard. I think I'll break another needle. I broke one already. It's just it's just a lot of layers, especially like right now I'm going through all that stitching of the mane and the different seam allowances on the back. It's just a lot of seam allowance, if you remember what the back of it looked like at one point. So these work pretty good. I just think that, number one, the extra length of the handle is kind of a lot on this part of the hand to open it up. You don't have to open it much, but if you don't open it wide enough, then you're kind of beating up your needle. So I'm glad I found something else online. We'll see how well it works. This thread that I already owned, how do I put that? I had bought some pearl cotton that I thought would be good colors for this particular quilt, as the flowers or something like that, because there were just some bright colors, and those were 8 weight. This pearl cotton is a 12, so it's much thinner, much finer. And I don't know that I like that right now. I really wish I had the thicker thread. So I'm going to do this one flower and see how I like it. I might like it fine for the butterflies, those are kind of a lighter weight thing anyway, so a lighter thread might work out well. But for these flowers, I was really looking forward to my bold colors showing up. This particular thread is variegated, but it has primarily a blue look to it. So because it's changing colors as I move along, that also is making it kind of harder to see your stitches. I don't know, we'll get this one petal done and see if we want to move on with all the other petals, and if we do, then we'll look at the flower and see how we like it with all of its petals done with this lighter weight thread, and see if it's something that I need to take out and get a thicker pearl cotton, or if I should just move on with it. Like we said, we're kind of not looking for perfection, we're just looking for completion. This is, going to be a play thing, of just a sweet tactile thing for my 5-year-old to enjoy. She loves her unicorn. She's got a lot of unicorn loveys, and she can use this to cover up one of her loveys, because I made her a quilt last year. And I think it's just a good way for us to encourage in the next generation the joy of having cotton quilts, is give them something to love on in their beds, something that they enjoy. And a quilt is one thing, but this being the subject matter of this, supporting one of her passions, not just because it's got a unicorn on it, but because I'm making it for one of her unicorns. This way she can love on one of her unicorns. And it's small and it's really lightweight, so it's easy for her to manipulate it and that kind of things. It is slower having to use the tools, but I don't know that it's much slower, because I was really having a struggle yesterday whenever I was working on the stitching. You saw me. I was really having a struggle to get that needle in and pull it out. It was just a lot of work. This is not looking too bad. I didn't want to fill in inside the outline. I didn't want to fill it in completely and lose all of this coloring that you get, because I love the background, and I love that you're seeing through the horse, and that you're seeing through the mane, and you're seeing all the vibrancy of this. It's a very unicornish kind of thing, because if you look at any unicorns fluffies or drawings, they're always these bright colors and magical whimsical colorations. I've seen some that are more subdued, but most of the ones that she has are bright white and got a lot of purple and all the rainbow colors. And so that's what this is too. Yeah, I don't know that I'm loving this. I am going into town tomorrow, so I could stop by the quilt store and get some more of the heavier weight. I don't know. I don't want to make a quick judgment just because I've got a few concentric lines going on here. So I was mistaken. My little pliers that I said I had ordered and were coming in on Sunday, they came in today. So you can see the difference in them. They're shorter, they're spring opened, so I'm not having to open them, which is really helpful, because on these there was something happening on the inside of the hand when I had to hold on to these and then open them up with my other fingers. Something was really hurting in there. So this is great. They're already opened, right? They're springed open. They have the little spring in there. And then this is a nylon, I thought when I first saw it, I thought that's not going to help me at all. That's going to be too slick. And I feel like there's an ant on me. And I don't know if you can tell, but look right there where the two pieces attach. They don't meet flush. So there's a little bit of gap in there. I thought that's not going to help me. I'm going to have to send these back. But I gave it a try, not a lengthy try, but enough of a try, and it actually grips my needle. So they fit my hand. They open on their own. They squeeze together nicely, and they grip the needle. So I think this is going to be a go. Because one thing for sure, I needed help. This is rough on the fingers and hands. I don't mind it though, because I'm seeing something come to life. And I know some of you might be saying, man, she is making that thing gaudy. She's just throwing the whole kitchen caboodle at it. Well, there's some truth to that. Literally, there's some truth to that. But you know what? I think that there's some quilts can tolerate a lot of things being thrown at it better than others. And this is one that I think can do that. You can get away with that. So, like I was telling you in that earlier clip, I had to figure out how to use double yarn, and I'm figuring out that I should use a longer stitch up top, and I'm also figuring out that my doing concentric circles inside these petals doesn't look good. I may end up taking out what I've done today and do straight stitches inside these petals. I am glad to have the experience with this 12 weight thread, but I really think that what I needed was a matching thread. So doubling it up is working okay. Can you see what I've done here? That here is where I was doing it single thread and my stitches were just too small. It looks like it's got freckles. And here it just looks too random and it doesn't look good to be in a circle. I think I need to take that out, or at least before I cut my thread, come over here into this other petal and make running stitches instead of trying to go in a circle, because it's too hard to take a long stitch, and especially through the thickness of this quilt, and actually get a good curve. It just looks really helter-skelter. It just doesn't look good at all, I don't think. So I'm learning some things, and that's another reason I don't mind that I'm throwing a lot at this quilt. I know I'm learning a lot. I'm learning how to think about the thickness of my quilt and how that affects my techniques and that kind of thing. I'm learning about which needles and threads to use. Oh, look, that came through. It's just me pulling on it. It's amazing. Trying to get these tails out of the way, and they keep on getting caught up in my stitches. Okay, so I am officially over here on this other petal, and now I'm going to just do running stitches and see what that looks like. I promise you guys, I do know how to hand quilt, and I can make decent stitches hand quilting. I need to find an example of that and include it in the video. I've not done it since the 90s, but I think that my muscle memory is still there for it. But on this quilt, see, this does not grip like the other thing does, like the pliers do. It'll be fine. But you see how the pliers have a lot of little grooves, little fine grooves right in here. And that was really nice. But I thought it was going to beat up my needle. And it was hard on my hand to open it. Oh dear, it's always something. But you know what? There's always workarounds. I am all about finding the workarounds, not excuses. I will identify the problem and then seek out the solutions. Let's see, where do I want to go next? I'm going to travel down to the bottom and start down there. I had hoped that we could do this video with the lake in the background, but I'd have to move the rocking chair, and my back doesn't feel like doing that today, so we're not doing it. But I think this is not a bad view, and it still gives you a different view than being in the studio. I'm going to get a picture of everything to show you what I've got done, and I'll put that on screen right now. So I decided not to do on the vine. I decided not to do the vine heavily, just because I don't, number one, this is all so tough to do, right? So I don't need to do stitches I don't need to do. And I want the butterflies and the blossoms to really pop. So it's okay that in my book, it is okay that the vine is just real simple and more subdued, more like just a little drawing. That's okay. That is okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to be annoyed by these little guys if they don't have a really good grip. I almost felt like I could put something in there to create an even better grip, like wrap a rubber band around it to help make it sticky. I don't know. It's not exactly what I needed, but it's close. So you can see how spotty it is here. And this is where I tried to go with the doubling of the thread, but I was going in circles, you know, kind of following the line of the petal. And it doesn't look like it has any form, so it looks messy. So I'm going to try to just go, you know, in straight rows here. I plan on coming back. I can put another leaf or two in here. Probably need to, since there's a big gap of lack of quilting. At this point, you know, if I don't put another leaf in here, then there's no quilting from here to here. It's not a problem because of the fact that this is a woven material, so you don't have to worry about your batting coming apart. But I think it kind of needs a little something maybe, so we might put another leaf in there. I don't know, I'm just going to play with it, and so it's a great one to give me the opportunity to explore doing such a thing. I think I'm going to come in. I went ahead, I told you guys I may not do this outlining, but I do like it. Because I've outlined the flowers in the black, I'm not going to keep on with the black. I'm going to come in a dark gray and then a lighter gray and do some more of that over here, I think. This went in, even though I had to pull with my fingers, it was kind of easy because I wasn't changing directions with each one. You know, here I'd had to. But I don't know, I think maybe my fingers were just stronger then, or I was paying more attention or something. I don't know, I think it just looks more cohesive there. Anyway, so I plan on doing some more of this running stitch, and I might come in and do some to outline the stem. I don't know for sure. I'm going to worry about my blossoms and my butterflies, and we'll take it one step at a time. I think we'll call it good at that. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. Let me take my glasses off. I just wanted you guys to have a little bit of an update to see that I am actually making progress. This is no longer a UFO. It is a work in progress. It is now a whip. And hopefully by the time you see me next, we'll be done with the quilting and we will be working on the ruffles. I cannot wait to get this thing done and deliver it to my granddaughter. I think she's going to love it. She don't think she has a full appreciation. Of course, she doesn't. You know, she's 5, and she hasn't seen a lot of my work, hardly any of it, actually. and for her to be able to appreciate from what she saw, and then for it to be a tangible thing that she's enjoying and, you know, using in her bed with her, you know, loveys and snugglies. So I hope that there's something in this that is encouraging to you guys, that just because things aren't right, even if you think it's sloppy, even if you think it's primitive or rudimentary or whatever, it's the overall picture that is really important. Finishing it, learning as you go, enjoying the process, that's as valuable as precision is, I swear. This has been feeding my soul to be out here, and remarkably, it's been fairly enjoyable the last 2 or 3 days. Even in the middle of the day, there's been a little bit of a breeze. You can see my hair's moving. That's kind of unheard of for us, and it gets so stinking hot here, and just, you know, all night long you wake up with it hot and whatever, especially this time of the year. But it's been kind of tolerable, and it's been nice to be out here with Ruby Sue, and I haven't really felt up to walking her, so it's been nice to be out here with her while she runs and plays, and that's kind of my substitute for doing a walk with her. But we do need to get out soon. The little girl needs to get her nails done. Hey, by the way, we need to celebrate something. I just checked in with the vet who did her spay work before I got her, and I asked for her vaccination records and got them. And they had put today's date as of, so she was with the vet in Decatur, Alabama in April, and that's when she was spayed, and they had put a birth date down for her of today's date. I think that's so ironic that I would call them up today to get those records. I don't really feel like she's 2 years old, because they put down 6/19/22. I just don't feel like she's 2 years old. She's just too much like a puppy, too just young yet, and too energetic. And then there's times when she just sleeps all the time too, and I think, well, maybe she's 20 and not 2. But anyway, I'm so glad I've got my girl. She's just a real joy. But we get to say happy birthday to Ruby today. My friends, I hope there's something in this, that me doing this and sharing all of this with you has been enjoyable for you, encouraging to you, and makes you say, hey, what I'm doing isn't so bad. If she can do that and show it on video and show people what all her mistakes are, maybe I can go ahead and try X, Y, or Z. That's what I'm hoping this video will do for you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully we'll be managing some ruffles. Bye. And I don't mean the potato chips. See you later. Bye.